Raised by Wolves is set in the 22nd century, where Earth has been decimated by a war between militant atheists and a religious order known as the Mithraic. Although the Mithraic win the war, Earth has been left uninhabitable. Campion Sturges, a former Mithraic scientist turned atheist, reprograms a Mithraic war android known as a necromancer to travel to a virgin planet known as Kepler-22b to colonize and start a new atheist civilization. Along with the necromancer, he sends a basic service android and a number of human embryos. Upon landing on Kepler-22b, the androids, now known as Mother and Father, bring 6 embryos to term to raise as their children. They enforce strict atheist beliefs while trying to learn more about their new home and survive its harsh conditions and alien creature inhabitants. 12 years later, only one child, named Campion after their maker, has survived. Eventually, Mother, Father, and Campion are visited by a group of Mithraic soldiers who have also made their way to Kepler-22b. They try to take the human Campion from his atheist android parents, so Mother attacks them, killing all but one soldier, Marcus. Then Mother flies up to their giant Mithraic space vessel known as the Ark, takes 5 children to replace the 5 children she had lost, and then destroys the Ark, wiping out nearly the entire human race. Mother's violent necromancer abilities come from her eyes, so she salvages the eyes from a Mithraic service droid to use safely around the children. Mother returns home to Father and Campion with the 5 Mithraic children named Paul, Hunter, Holly, Vita, and Tempest, who had become pregnant after being raped in cryosleep during the long journey from Earth to Kepler-22b. While Mother and Father try to enforce their atheist beliefs on their new children, the Mithraic kids remain strong in their faith and even begin teaching Campion their ways. Despite these differences in beliefs, the children do grow to trust Mother and Father. When Mother discovers a stasis pod from the Ark wreckage, she uses it to relive past memories of the original Campion, who she was in love with. Meanwhile, Marcus is reunited with a small group of survivors from the Ark, including his wife Sue and loyal follower Lucius. It's then revealed that Marcus and Sue were actually atheist soldiers named Caleb and Mary, who, upon realizing that their side was losing the war, killed the real Marcus and Sue and had an android perform plastic surgery so they could assume their identities and leave Earth. They then discover that the real Marcus and Sue had a young son named Paul. During the Ark's years-long voyage to Kepler-22b, the Mithraic underwent a cryosleep that placed their mind in a simulation. In this simulation, Caleb and Mary solidify themselves as Marcus and Sue and grow to love Paul as if he was their actual son. In the present, Marcus and Sue want the Mithraic survivors to rescue their stolen children, but their leader Ambrose seems to have gone mad and wants to study an ancient relic that he believed was fulfillment of an ancient Mithraic prophecy. Marcus kills Ambrose and takes over as leader, leading his people to Mother and Father's camp to rescue the children. During the rescue attempt, the Mithraic soldiers critically injure Father while also experiencing heavy casualties at the hands of Mother. Marcus manages to sneak Paul a knife and instructs him to steal Mother's necromancer eyes so that she could be more easily defeated. After Paul steals Mother's eyes, Marcus attacks her, but before he can kill her, he hears voices instructing him to spare her life. Marcus begins to believe that the Mithraic god's soul is talking to him, and that he will fulfill the Mithraic prophecy of leading humans into the next evolution of the human race. As Marcus begins to experience visions, Mother is able to escape from her captors, but not before revealing to them Marcus's true identity. While hiding from the Mithraic and recovering from her injuries, Mother discovers that she has inexplicably become pregnant, something she believes was the result of her time in stasis, living out her fantasy of being with the original Campion. Meanwhile, Sue becomes disillusioned with Marcus's delusions of grandeur and fears for the safety of the children, so she takes all of the children but Hunter and flees. Hunter reprograms the broken father and the two make their own escape. Eventually, both groups stumble upon Mother and forge an uneasy alliance in order to best protect the children. By this point, Marcus is growing increasingly unhinged and begins seeking guidance from Soul at the same ancient relic the former Mithraic leader Ambrose was obsessed with. His few remaining followers begin to question his judgment, especially after Mother's revelation about his identity. Lucius turns on Marcus and leaves him for dead, claiming that if Marcus was truly chosen by Soul, he would be protected. Marcus survives the attack and eventually stumbles across a new group of humans who have arrived on the planet. He kills them and sends a message to their leader that he was the king of this planet and they weren't welcome here. And Marcus isn't the only one who claims to be receiving messages from Soul. Paul begins hearing voices that tell him the true identity of Marcus and Sue and that they had killed his real parents. Paul confronts Sue with this information and shoots her in the stomach. Meanwhile, Mother and Father discover that the alien creatures on Kepler-22b were in fact humans who had devolved over time. Mother then gives birth, but instead of a human child, it's actually a leech-like flying snake that she had become infected with. Fearing this creature would kill their human children, Mother and Father take the snake aboard their ship and fly it into Kepler 22b's core with the intent to kill themselves and it. But the ship ends up flying straight through the core and crashes onto the other side of the planet in a more hospitable tropical zone. The snake grows rapidly and emerges from the crash site to fly off to an unknown destination. And that's everything that happened in Season 1 of Raised by Wolves. Let me know some of your favorite moments from Season 1 in the comments below, and what are you most looking forward to seeing in Season 2? Like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to this channel for more content like it, and that does it for me in this video, but I'll see you in the next one.